This little girl's parents could not believe their eyes when they walked past the tiger enclosure with their daughter. Normally, the big Bengal tigers were asleep far from the path, but one woke up and followed their daughter when she walked past their enclosure. The tiger kept coming over whenever he saw her. Then they found out why. The huge animal even bowed when the girl touched the window. This happened a few times that day, and they couldn't help but cry when they found out why. That morning, Mandy's parents didn't expect it to be such a special day, but what happened at that enclosure changed everything. They had packed eagerly the night before because Mandy was going to the zoo for the first time. She loved animals so much. She had a special bond with them from a young age. For example, she could calm their busy dog, and ducks in the park often gathered around her. They had taken her to the petting zoo before, but she had never been to a big zoo. This visit was more exciting than their usual trips because of what happened with the tiger, which even made the newspaper. By now, Mandy and her parents had been walking through the zoo park for about half an hour. Mandy was enjoying herself, pointing, staring in awe, and waving at every animal she passed with a big smile on her face, even though she couldn't talk in full sentences yet. The day started off easy and fun, but things were about to get complicated, and Mandy's parents weren't prepared for it. Mandy was usually calm, even though she was excited. Connor and Andrea felt relieved seeing other parents rushing around after their crying kids, thinking, "We're lucky our daughter isn't like that." But everything changed when they reached the tiger enclosure. They quietly pushed the stroller along the glass wall, glancing at the sleeping Bengal tigers in the distance. "Those animals are amazing, aren't they?" Connor remarked to his wife, who was getting ice cream cones from a stall about 20 meters away. Andrea nodded with a smile. With her back turned to her husband and daughter, Andrea's thoughts weren't on the tiger enclosure, something she would soon regret. When she returned with the ice cream, she looked at the stroller, but Mandy was nowhere to be seen. "Connor, where is our daughter?" she asked him anxiously in a panic. Connor and Andrea looked around. Their daughter could already walk reasonably well and was happy to show it at home, but she had never done so in a strange place. "How can you lose sight of our daughter?" Andrea shouted to her partner with a fiery red face, but Connor ignored her and started looking around for a sign of their adventurous daughter. Andrea immediately asked the ice cream salesman if he had seen the little girl standing out of the stroller and walking away, but he told her that he hadn't seen her leave. They kept looking around. Many people were around them, but they couldn't find Mandy anywhere until they heard the surprised voices of a group of tourists standing near them. A small group of zoo visitors stood tightly together near the right corner of the tiger enclosure, and they had a good reason for doing so. They were lined up so compactly that Connor and Andrea could hardly see through them. It wasn't easy to make out what was going on from a distance, and if it had anything to do with Mandy, but it was clear that something special was going on there, and they would soon find out what. Had these people happened to find their daughter? Was she there, perhaps? Andrea walked quickly to the other side of the glass wall, hoping to see her daughter there. The crowd let Andrea pass, and she found her daughter standing there on both legs with her hands against the glass wall. But Mandy wasn't alone. A giant Bengal tiger had come to the glass and followed Mandy's movements as if it were her own shadow. Mandy had clearly realized this and stepped a few steps to the left and then took another 3 steps to the right, and wouldn't you know it, the tiger did the same. It didn't matter what their daughter did. The considerable cat's body followed her every move like he was mirroring her. Bystanders watched the spectacle in amazement, and some tried it themselves. But no one was able to catch the tiger's attention. He was focused only on little Mandy's movements. Andrea was also watching in amazement but wanted to protect her baby girl. However, it didn't seem dangerous, and just before Andrea wanted to pick up her daughter, something magical happened. Mandy put her hands against the window and the tiger stopped pacing. He was laser-focused and about to do something amazing. He sat up on his butt and looked at the little girl intently, at first without losing eye contact. The people around them were watching in silence. Andrea still wanted to grab her daughter's hand to take her back to the stroller, but now also stood and watched in amazement. The tiger closed its eyes and placed its paw against the other side of the glass. Loud oohs and ahs sounded from the people watching. Mandy, Andrea, and Connor looked on in amazement at their daughter. To top it off, Mandy now also placed her head against the window. That's when the tiger did something even more impressive. The 300-pound Bengal tiger made a deep bow and purring noises from his enclosure. Tourists were taking pictures, and Connor and Andrea weren't sure what to do with the situation. Mandy's parents hesitated to go on because everybody was enjoying the show. After a while, they decided to leave with their daughter, but the tiger made a sad sound, almost like crying. It was a special moment, but Connor and Andrea didn't realize how important it was at the time. Little did they know, a man had seen what their daughter did and began following them secretly. As they continued their walk in the park, enjoying ice cream and Mandy's excitement with the animals, suddenly Connor felt uneasy, that they were being watched. Despite the cheerful atmosphere, Connor couldn't shake off the feeling. He dismissed it at first, thinking he imagined it. But the sensation returned, and he noticed a man watching them intently among the happy families. He held out newspapers, but his attitude and gaze were not focused on park visitors. Connor told Andrea about the man, but she told him he was imagining it. He's probably just a vendor from the park after all. He's holding newspapers, but Connor didn't feel at ease. On the contrary, Andrea tried to calm him down. Let's just keep walking. We're almost back at the tiger Mandy likes so much. The park was small, so they passed the same animal enclosure several times, and of all the animals in the park, Mandy seemed to get most excited about the Bengal tiger. They parked their stroller along the fence. Mandy's stroller straps were barely off, but she stood up and walked directly to the part of the enclosure she stood before. The Bengal was sleeping in the distance, but the moment Mandy put her small hands against the glass, the same thing that happened an hour ago happened again. When he realized Mandy was back at the enclosure, the tiger jumped up from his deep sleep and sprinted to where she was. Happy to engage in new contact with her, he followed her and bowed deeply once more while making purring noises. Why did this animal react so intensely to their daughter anyway? There was a question that would not go unanswered for long before they knew it. The mysterious man appeared again. He slowly walked towards the family. Connor quickly said to his wife, "You see, he followed us. I'm not crazy now." Andrea believed him instantly. She pulled Mandy away from the frame and held her tightly herself. The man now stood directly in front of Connor and Andrea. "What is going on? Why are you following us? And what do you want from us?" Connor called out loudly. He felt angry but was also curious about what the man had to say. An immediate explanation followed by the man. The man's serious look disappeared. He had indeed been following them for the past hour without making any move, and he did so deliberately. He wanted to pick the right moment, and that moment was now, in front of the enclosure that belonged to the Bengal tiger, who seemed to have such a special bond with their daughter. Then he started to explain himself. "I was waiting for the right moment and wanted to be absolutely sure that what happened before with your daughter and the tiger was not a one-time thing. But now I'm sure." "What do you know for sure?" Connor asked. This stranger seemed to him that the mysterious man wanted something from Mandy, and he wasn't sure what it was, money or something. The man apologized. "My name is Andrew Larson, and I own this zoo. I wanted to speak to you because your daughter did something incredible an hour ago. This tiger, Koshi, has been with us for 6 months. He was rescued from poachers in Nepal and was given a place here to reconnect with other tigers in a nice way. But unfortunately, Koshi is noticeably unhappy. He rarely comes off his rock and often lies isolated in a corner, sleeping alone. At least until today, until he met your daughter." Koshi appeared to have a strong bond with Mandy, as observed by the zoo owner. Despite their previous struggles, Mandy's presence brought hope for Koshi's happiness again. Connor and Andrea were puzzled by the situation but acknowledged their daughter's extraordinary connection with the tiger. They questioned the man about what he needed from them and Mandy. The man led them to his nearby office, where they could discuss quietly while watching the animals. As they talked, Mandy once again interacted with the animals through the window. Koshi quickly came over and pressed his paws against the glass, ready to play with Mandy again. The office was right next to the tiger's area, so they could watch their interaction closely and privately. The zoo owner then made a suggestion to Mandy's parents. He asked if they would like to visit Koshi once a week. During these visits, Koshi and Mandy could play through the glass. Since Koshi wasn't comfortable around other tigers, Mandy could help him feel more at ease in this way. The owner hoped that over time, Koshi would feel happier and more confident. Being in captivity made Koshi more used to humans than other tigers. As a gesture of gratitude, the family received free tickets to visit Koshi whenever they wanted for the rest of their lives. They agreed to the proposal after a short discussion. 1 week later, they returned to the zoo to see if Koshi would react the same way and if he seemed happier. During their visit, they greeted all the animals but were most excited to see Koshi in his enclosure. The owner, Andrew, was there too, and he happily informed them that Koshi seemed much happier than before. Mandy's visits had greatly improved Koshi's mood, and everyone was eager to see what else could be done. When Mandy approached the glass, Koshi eagerly ran over, just like before. The moment was as wonderful as the first time they saw it. Their bond was hard to put into words, but everyone was delighted to see Koshi so lively and happy. For months, Mandy continued visiting Koshi. As she grew and could speak, she expressed her dream of becoming a zookeeper to her parents. This heartfelt moment moved everyone present and solidified Mandy's bond with Koshi. Renamed the Tiger Whisperer, Mandy's special connection with animals became evident. Their regular playtime not only brought joy to Koshi, but also deepened their friendship. Mandy's dedication to caring for animals highlighted her natural gift and passion, affirming her dream of becoming a zookeeper.